My name is Regina Olakunle, and you're welcome to Regina Olakunle TV. Today, I have a special guest with me. The program is When Love is Lost, but I'm going to put the two together, personality profile and When Love is Lost. When Love is Lost talks about domestic violence. We're going to be talking about talking to the victims of domestic violence. They're going to tell us what it really means to be involved in such. And because the person I want to interview today is very, very important, so I am going to combine the two. She's going to be a representation of the two. Personality profile, where she's going to tell us how she started, where she is at the moment, how God has helped her thus far. And the second one, she's going to be telling us about the experience she had when it comes to the domestic violence of her life. She was a victim, and so she can tell us she's an authority when it comes to such. So she would explain to us, if you're going through such, how you're going to be able to recognize it, how you're going to be able to fight it, and how she was able to fight her own problems and where she is at the moment. Where she is a beautiful place. We're all happy to, be a part of our experience. So it's a pleasure to bring to you viewing pleasure, Dr. Dupe Blessing Ajewole. Thank you for coming on this program.
And thank you for having me.
Hello, Patricia's blog. How may I help you?
Atinuke, her best friend, is sleeping with her husband.
Be careful.
And nobody messes with you.
She wants to destroy my reputation.
Come off it. She did not even mention your name.
That stupid girl had been shot.
I swear, I'm gonna make her work big time.
Who did you offend?
Nobody.
I'm gonna let you know who you offended. Now get up!
You seem so nice.
I am a nice person, depending on the business that connects us.
Thank you for having me, Regina Olakunle TV. Actually, my name again is Dr. Modupe Blessing Ajewole. People know me as Dr. Blessing. And I live here in the United States of America. I work with the federal government. I will let you know that because it's a very top secret job.
That's fine.
But anyway, where do you want me to start, Miss Regina?
Yes, you're actually going to start from the beginning. The beginning.
Beginning.
Yes. Like I said, I'm going to combine the two programs because I know that you're very important. You have gone through a lot in your life. I want you to share that experience with the people watching, because some people believe that it's easy to come across money in life, that you can just do whatever you want to do. She's seated right here. I know what she has gone through, but I can tell you today that there is nothing you go through that you can come out of if you believe in yourself.
Yes.
She believes so much in herself. Don't let me tell her story. I'll allow her to tell her own story. So she has told us her name. Dr. Kamiole, Dr. Ajewole, where are you from?
Well, actually, my father told me that we came from the Ogun State in Ijebu something, from Djibouti, I think. But I was born and bred in Kano State. I spent over 18 years in Kano, Kaduna, Maiduguri, Zaria, and then we moved in 1988. We have to move down to Ibadan Oyo State. So that's where I went to school. I went to school in Ibadan. I completed my high school in Ibadan, and then I proceeded to Ire Poly, Osun State Polytechnic Ire, and I spent 4 years in Osun State Polytechnic Ire before I got to know that I was not in school. Our rector, embezzled the money that you're supposed to register for at the Board of Education. We were not registered, and majority of us were, out of school. And it was very, that time was a very challenging time for me because I was thinking everything is over because I struggled to go to school. Even though my father was a professor, he was a professor at the University of Iowa here in the United States when I was in school at that time. Nobody knows because we didn't really get that kind of relationship, father to daughter relationship. In fact, sometimes I always question if I came from the Cabiolist family. But as I was told, my father ran away from home. He was the first child of an herbalist. So he was supposed to take the battle from the father. But being born again, he got converted to be a Christian, so he ran away from home. And the battle started from there, I believe so, because I can say that it might not be him that did all what he did because he didn't know how we went to school. He didn't even know how majority of the kids went to school. We were 8 in number. And everyone don't just scatter, just, find your own way. You have to survive, have your own life. I have this kind of feeling growing up that I will succeed if I put more effort into my life. So I decided to do whatever I can do, from selling kunu, zobo, kankara, in Pashekara in Kano State, And, before, after school, I was in my elementary school at that time, primary school. So after my school time, I would go and sell kunu, zobo. I know how to do everything by myself. So my mother would just do it and go and sell in Pashekara, Guarzo, Kabuga, And I have to do that to survive, to go to school. So coming down during the Rehoboam Crusade in 1988, we have to move down to the south, which is Oyo State. So coming down to the south, things get more better because my mother was a teacher that time. So as a child of a teacher, sometimes you don't really pay much when you go to school. So I was put in the Queen's School at Pata Ibadan. Do you know the place, Queen's School? So I have to enroll to GSS 3, even though I was in SS2, going to SS3 back in Kano. But I couldn't take my placement exam transcript, so I have to re-enroll myself. They have to enroll me, my mom, and re-enroll me to the junior school. What's it called that time?
Junior secondary
school. So I started from GSS 3 at the Queen's School at Pata Ibadan. From there, a lot of things happened. You wouldn't be able to be motivated anymore after riot. The riot took so many lives, including my friends' life. I remember a year ago, but to a lot of friends, So I wasn't motivated to go to school again, and I was like scared, that kind of trauma. So I wasn't doing well in school, so I have to leave Queen's School to Bashirogumola High School. And that's how the challenge started. And to cut the long story short, I left school with a very good certificate. We call it WAHEC those days, West African Examination Council certificate. And that's the certificate I've been using today, because people think I won't be able to make it. Even my mom, my father, they thought because I was a tomboy. Back those days, I was a tomboy in school. So I fight a lot. I fight a lot too. So because I hate justice growing up. So anybody I say that is not being justified, I go there. The fight is my fight. So and I have a lot. So I did a lot of tomboy things, and due to youthful exuberance, you have to do some things in life. But I'm not regretting it because it really shaped me to who I am today.
Good.
Majority of the experiences shaped me. It made me stronger. you know. So when I left there, I left Osun State Polytechnic because I couldn't finish. I was in the HID too. Before I got to know I wasn't in school. So I have to begin again at the University of Ibadan. I have to begin from diploma because I couldn't do my, what's it called that time? Jam. So I couldn't do it. It was too late. So I didn't want to stay home. So I was like, let me begin from diploma again. So by the time I was in diploma level, my friends, my colleagues are already doing the master's degree. So it was very challenging, but I still held on. I still held tight to God. I still keep on, you know, I was still determined to make it in life. And I promised God that time when everything was like, you know, crashing down on me, you know, from HND2 to diploma, you know, some people would have given up. Like, why will I go back to school? I don't need it. But I told God, I said, if you let me succeed, I will make sure I finished to the PhD level.
Well, did you have a mentor at that time, like that you looked up to that made you do all those things, or it was just God?
Thank you. I do have a mentor because a river that has no solid foundation is just going to sway away, as in it's not going to have a direction, you know. So I had a mentor, and in the likes of Dr. Malomo, Baba Deluba.
Yes.
He knows me, more Faransé, come here, you know, more Faransé. And whenever the Baba calls me to his office and, you know, encourage me, it gives me more, you know, energy to move on. Because Baba knows about me, Baba knows my story. And then Dr. Malomo too knows my story because Dr. Malomo is a junior colleague of my father back at the University of Ife, when he was at the University of Ife. And then Dr. Bamidele too knows my father. But my father was his teacher back those days. He told me that. But anyway, so they always encouraged me a lot, and Dr. Malomo became like my adopted father those days. And then he always tell me, "Don't worry, there's a light at the end of the tunnel." And I always use that word to motivate people right now. He will say, "Never mind, there is a light at the end of the tunnel."
And like you heard, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So you shouldn't throw in the towel. You shouldn't give up on yourself.
Yes.
Like you heard, she has told us how the journey is. It was sad from the beginning. But I want to tell you that even though it started from a sad beginning, it will never end the same way. So if you're going through stuff, you're watching this program right now, she's here because I want her to motivate you. Because she has been there. She's an authority when it comes to something like this. She has been through it. Like I told you, I'm going to be mixing the two programs because she's very important. And then the violence part of it, the domestic violence. That's the second part. The story talks about when love is lost. She went through a very bad marriage. And I want her to throw more light on that. Because we have a lot of people who go through domestic violence. And people believe that these victims, like, they just want to tell the world that, oh, so thing happened to me. Like, they caused it, like, they brought it on themselves. That's the more reason why we're here to talk about it. And I want you to know that these victims, they're not just women alone. Because I know of another man who is going through stuff like that. So it could be a woman, it could be a man. There's no specific, it could be anyone. Once there is violence in your home, it doesn't even have to be in a marriage alone. It could be in a relationship. Absolutely. If you're going through stuff with your partner, it could be emotional, it could be physical, it could be psychological. Whatever form it comes through, once you are not happy in that marriage, you are not happy in that relationship, the man is being physical, the woman is going physical, like a lot of stuff is going on. It's time you need to separate yourself. She told us she used to be a tomboy. So you will wonder how a tomboy became a victim of domestic violence. That would, you begin to think, is it possible for somebody who was, that confident in herself to become someone that, anybody can just push around? Like from the beginning of this program, I told you she's a doctor, she has a PhD. So if she's a doctor, it means she's learned. And she can allow herself go through all this. What made you wait For how long were you in your marriage? Let me go direct like that.
16 years, 8 months.
I say it's almost 17 years. Why did it take you this long, like that long, for you to say, oh, I'm not going to take this anymore?
Thank you, Miss Regina. Actually, because of my educational, delay, because I was delayed in my education, my father already told us that you cannot get married unless you finish your bachelor's, right? So before I could finish my bachelor's, I was almost in my 30s. So in my 30s, don't think I married early, I married late in life. So I married late and I was matured enough to get married because it was after I finished from that University of Ibadan that I married my ex. And I really waited on God. But what really made me to stay in this abusive marriage for almost 17 years is because of the society. That is number one. Then number two, I was thinking I was doing it for my kids, not knowing that I was destroying them. The society, because societal norm says if you are over 30, that means, you are too late, you are late, you need to get married, you need to stay married. That's our belief in our society back in Nigeria. Even here, some people believe that, you have to stay married. When you are married, you stay married. Yes, we sometimes there's a misconception about what the Bible says about getting married and staying married. But me, because of the societal, influence and what the people say, I decided to stay in that abusive marriage. And I was a tomboy. And before I got married to my husband, I became born again. And because that I was so vulnerable, because I just want to do everything according to the Bible. Whatever the Bible says, whatever the Lord says, whatever this man of God says, So I was so vulnerable and I decided to a fault, because I decided I want to follow, I want to be that good disciple that the Bible said we have to be. And I didn't know I was overdoing it to hurt myself and hurt my mental stability. I stayed in the abuse marriage too because there's a adage that says it takes two to tango, right?
Yeah.
So if there's an abuse in a marriage, sometimes you want to look at yourself and say, what am I doing wrong? Mm-hmm. Where am I going wrong? So I was trying to figure out, is it me? Is it because they said I was? Because I have already, before I got married, I received a lot of, you are the black sheep, you are bad, you are crazy, you know what I'm talking about, right, Miss Regina? So I was thinking, maybe I was the one at fault in that marriage. So let me see if I can fix myself. So there's a lot of things that comes together for a woman to stay in an abusive marriage, especially when you don't have that self-esteem. When your self-esteem is gone and you're trying to find yourself. So I don't blame the people who are in abusive marriage. I'm just trying to encourage them that no matter what, even if you don't have a self-esteem anymore, you still have to live. Because it's God that saved me. As I'm talking to you, I have a disc at my back. I have a surgery due to abusive marriage. Yes, so I will have been dead. So if God can save me, give me a second chance, I think I need to voice out to let you know that no matter what, either you think it is you that you are causing the abuse or the other party, you have to just leave. There are some times too you think that because of your self-esteem, you think you are the cause of it. No. There's nothing you can do that will make the other party to lay hands on you or to try to kill you, no matter what. There's an adage that in Yoruba that says, but still they will still make up, right?
Yes.
That is the teeth and the tongue still fight. But sometimes there's a way they make it up and they still work together to chew and eat and swallow. So there are some things that we have to think about in life that will make us to know that we don't deserve what we think we deserve or what we think we are going through. No matter how, no matter what. And that's what I learned. That's why I have to leave. I fled from my marriage not because of me, but because of my kids as well. Because you don't want to break down your kids. You don't want them to have a trauma. You don't want them to think that marriage is not good, it's not sweet. Some of them, that's why some of our kids turn into, being not straight. You know what I'm talking about,
Yes,
right?
I do.
Yes.
If you're watching this program right now, she says something about the society, and she's right. To some people, they feel if you're single, there's something wrong with you. And do you feel it's better to be married and suffering? You are suffering in silence while you are still in that marriage? Or do you feel it's better to be single and happy? I'm not saying being single is good or being married. It's good to be married. There's joy in marriage if the love is still there.
Yes.
Once the love is gone, there's nothing you can do about it. I said when love is gone because when love is lost, because if you love who you are with, you would not raise your hands against them. You will never do that. No matter what that person does. I know that there's some certain human beings that can push you to some extent that you want to do what you're not supposed to do. But for somebody that you say, oh, I love this person. This is a month of love. We're celebrating love. Mm-hmm. And then you raise up your hands and hit that person, whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. The truth of the matter is that you have no right to do that. And I want to mention that Mrs. Ajewole, she used to be a military person, right?
Yes.
So for somebody to have been in the military in the United States of America, and you still have a former husband, raise your hands against that person. You will wonder, what is the police doing? What is the law enforcement? What are they doing? Is it that the law enforcement are not doing their jobs? Or is it the individual that failed to communicate with, the necessary enforcement authority?
Let me come to that. Actually, yes, I was a military intelligence officer back here. I left in 2012, but some people doesn't know what I'm about to say right now. And that is what my husband, my ex, used against me. If you are in the military, you dare not you dare not be in where there's a fight. You are the one they're going to pick up. You are the one who is going to jail. Because they believe that you have the upper hand over the other person. You are the culprit. He is the victim. So no matter either you are a man or a woman in the military here, and a police come there to settle or to the scene, let me say, they are going to jail that military person. They have to handcuff this person. I've been handcuffed. Yeah, I've been handcuffed. There are some times when he's eating me, I have to run. I have to run out of that scene. So there was a time too when he's doing it, and I'm trying to see a way of escape because I don't want the police to, because I'm the one who's getting beaten, and I'm the one who's going to be jailed. I'm the one who's going to be picked up. Yes, because I'm in the military. So I'll be looking, and sometimes we lock up the doors and take the keys so that I won't go out. Yes. I remember one time in New York, I'm not blaming anybody. It's a scenario, it's a phase of life, which I thank God that I went through to be able to appreciate the man I have today. Okay? Everything in life has a purpose. I believe that. And what I went through is a purpose for me to be able to appreciate when God gave me the best. And that's what I'm thinking right now. So there was a time in New York when I was at Fort Drum, New York. I was a military officer, over 281 soldiers under me. And I have to be straight. I have to have a good mental stability. But you can't have it when you have a bad marriage. Know that. But I was there, and he was beating me. I was trying to escape through the back door, and he called the police. I escaped. When I escaped, because I have to break the door open, I escaped. I was on my way. The police called me and said, "Where am I?" And they came to track me down there. Thank God that they saw all the bruises, and he had none. They would have taken me away. That's when the policeman told me that, be careful. I will still remember what the policeman said. You married your enemy. Wow. That's the first person that told me, and that is back in 2010. Say, be careful, you're married enemy. I was like, wow. Because they would have jailed me down there that, okay, I lay my hands on my spouse. You dare not in the military.
Wow.
Yes. And don't get me wrong. I married my husband when there was nothing. You know, I just left the University of Ibadan. I just left school as a graduate. Well, actually, I was working at H Productions. If you know H Productions, Elijah Niyadidayo. I was a cinematographer for him. He was the one who did the recording for Yinka Ayefele, the first recording. Wofi Bere Ojo Aye Mi Sise or something like that. We did that recording. We did the editing. I was working with Niyadidayo, but and you know, because I have to work and go to school at the same time. I know most of you didn't know that.
Of course, I knew that.
I have to go to work, and because I have to pay my way.
Of course, I'm aware of that.
So I was working, I was going to school. So when I got out of school, and people were like, she's, you know, I'm in my 30s. So what's she doing? No. So I was like, who is the person I have to pick up now? So he has been asking me out for 4.5 years, but he was living in Port Harcourt. I was in Ibadan. So I was like, the person I don't know, you know, he's in Port Harcourt, even though he said he's a pastor, you know. I was like, so the person I was really looking at messed up again in Ibadan, messed up, and you know, it's a long story. He was making out with my goddaughter, and I caught them 3 weeks in the wedding. Maybe you've forgotten. I told them
because you know you mentioned I was supposed to.
You're supposed to be my chief bridesmaid.
Chief bridesmaid. Yeah.
Now you have remembered. I didn't have no friend like that time, but you were so close to me because she was a business lady back in the day. So she always sent me some kind of necklace, good stuff, jewelry and everything. So I just approached her. I was like, can you be my best? If you can remember, my chief bridesmaid. She was like, I was like, I'm getting married. That was in 2023. That's 2003. 2003. So you can remember. So when that one now was making out with my daughter, 3 weeks to the wedding, I got to know. So I have to run. I didn't tell you. I didn't tell my mother. I didn't tell nobody. I ran to Kuton in Kutungi in Togo. You know Kuton. So I ran there so that the time of I was supposed to get married that time, December 6 to 2003. Go and look at the date. It's a Saturday. So I ran so that nobody will say, where you are. Man, they could duty. Wow, you know that they do. I'm a shepherd, I'm a HIV, you know, those kind of things. So I ran because I know I cannot take it. This is my goddaughter. I introduced my goddaughter to you, and you're making house with my goddaughter. And I caught them, not that they told me, I caught them red-handed. So I couldn't take it. So I was like, I can't go on with this marriage. So, you know those kind of things now. People will now be thinking, you're banding girl, she doesn't want to get married. You know? Oh, maybe because I ran away, I said, I'm not getting married again. My mother was like, what is going on? What in the world? I've told everybody, you know? So it was a decision I have to make because I know that it's till death do us part. Anything I put my hands in, I want it to be successful. So I was like, no, I can't. So I left, and then everybody was talking about me. Oh, she didn't want to get married. Me, kill her. Nobody knows what went wrong, you know. So I was like, okay, because of this stigma, who else can I look at to quickly, fill the gap? And that's why, because he's been asking me out 1.5 years, I've told him I have someone. So he was wishing me happy married life, happy new year. That was December 30, 2003 to January 1st, 2004. So when he was wishing me that, you know, I just said, I'm not married, but thank you. Happy New Year as well. He said, Happy New Year, happy married life, my regards to your family. That's what he said, my ex. And when I said, I'm not yet married, guess what happened now? So that's what paved way for him. So he now came in January 30th, he came. Then in February the 2nd, actually, I remember everything, 2004. He came and he was like, please, you know that God has made it for me. That's why the marriage didn't hold in December 6, 2003. So please, can you, just, agree with me that you want to be my wife? And yes, February 10th, I said I agree. And April 17, 2004, we got married 2 months after.
Wow. Hello, Patricia's blog. How may I help you?
Atinuke, her best friend, is sleeping with her husband.
Be careful.
And nobody messes with me.
She wants to destroy my reputation.
I mean, come off it. She did not even mention your name.
That stupid girl has been shot.
I swear, I'm gonna make her work big time.
Who did you offend?
Nobody.
I'm gonna let you know who you offended. Now get up!
You seem so nice.
I am a nice person, depending on the business that connects us. If you're watching this program right now, she says some things. I want you to pick one or two lessons from what you're watching today. Because the society is going to tell you, we are not being judgmental here. We're just having a discussion. And this discussion, because I told her this before we started this interview, I said, I want you to be a open page so that people can learn from you. I look at her life and I can tell you she's a testament of what God can do. There is nothing, absolutely nothing that our God cannot do. But it is better when we apply knowledge to whatever we do. Because sometimes, even when we know God and we don't apply the right knowledge, you will make it look as if God is not giving us the right thing.
Yes.
So if you're in this position today, you're about to get married, and you know that that is not the right man. You know that something is wrong with that relationship. But you're looking at the age, what the society would say. I want to tell you, you must have a rethink. Because if you die in that relationship, the society will talk. The same society you're talking about, they will be the one to say some certain things. So it's best to look at what makes you happy. Whether you are married or single, being married is not a certificate to heaven. It is not a certificate to happiness.
Yes, Lord.
Except you marry the right one. So if you're listening and you're really paying attention, you must have learned that lesson. And I want you to tell us, what are these signs? Because I am sure it's not just the physical. It didn't start from the physical. It must have started from psychologically, the words of mouth, what he must have been saying to you. Because from what she said now, it shows that somebody may have asked you out for years back, but she didn't really know him. Personally, they didn't really know each other. There was no one-on-one thing. She just knew him from afar. Mm-hmm. And being a pastor, pastors, you are listening. Because you are ordained, I am gifted. But I don't have a church. And when I say I'm gifted, I'm not talking about little gifts. When things come to me and I say it to you, please don't dabble about it. Because that's it. But I won't go and open a church because I know I am a work in progress. Yes. Because I have a calling does not mean I will go open one mega church and start doing business. The work of God is not about business. It's not about money making. So don't be deceived about the pastoral aspect. As she's talking to you, she's equally a pastor. She's ordained. She is ordained. So where is the fault coming from? Where is really this problem? Where would you pinpoint where the problem is? Where did it start? Was it just the word of mouth or you just started beating you or something? Where exactly?
Thank you, Miss Virginia. Actually, the way it started, it was very, very dramatic and very, very... I was thinking it was spiritual too, but it wasn't. It was just a personality, personality traits. When we got married, we had nothing. Well, I still have some little exchange, but he wasn't working. He just said he was a full-time pastor at a Redeem in Port Harcourt. No job, no house, no cars, nothing. But my father really fought not for me to marry him, but he couldn't really say much because he didn't know how I succeeded in life. So he couldn't put his mouth at, okay, because if he's one who sent to, you want to school now? No, he can.
You can have a say.
Yeah, I can have a say, but he couldn't because I said, just one, I want to marry because I'm the one who knows how I succeeded in life. So, but he fought like as if he knew. My father is a reverend too, and he sees a lot. He knows, but he couldn't really say much. But the only thing he was saying was like, how can I want to go from fire pan to fire? Why can't I find someone who can take care of me? And I was really putting the blame on my father, like, yeah, this thing you did what you're supposed to do. Will you be saying all these things? And then leave me, let me marry the person I won't marry. So that thing really is didn't let me really see much of what, how compatible we are and what is going to become we in the near future, It didn't really mean because of the blind and the anger that you brought me to this life, you didn't let me do you didn't let me succeed under you. So you can't dictate for me. You can't dictate for me, Dad. So I went ahead. Even further in our wedding day, he was picking up little things like the yam. He said this yam is very scary. He said, come take your scary yams. Yeah, I've never heard about that before. He was trying to fight us to, deter and just to, not to let that thing to hold, the wedding to hold. But I wasn't looking at that aspect of what he was trying to do. I was thinking, oh, you did not know how I succeeded, so you want to destroy my day of joy. You know what I'm saying? Wow. I didn't really put my spiritual mind, down, calm down, and use my discernment of spirit. I didn't do that, So that went by. So I first saw the sign the second week to our wedding.
Wow.
And yeah, anger management, he couldn't manage his anger. He almost hit me in the bank, first bank. Yes, and I was thinking it was just because of the wedding stress. There's wedding stress. You have stress when you are getting married. Everybody is one room corner. So I was like, let me just let it slide. But I was like, what will make him to be behaving like that? But I didn't really. And God was telling me that time, but it was too late. Will I say I'm going to call off another wedding because God was telling me something that cannot be, that cannot be shown to people that this is what God, So I couldn't call off a wedding just because somebody has an anger issue in the bank, And apart from that, the second time was because my sister did her own wedding. 1 week before mine. She already had a wedding, but because my father, my mother, my parents were here in the United States, so they have another wedding when they came down for my home wedding. They have another wedding so that they can be present, So a week before my wedding, that's when that happened. And the way he just, explained it out, I don't know this man really. The only thing I knew about him was he was a pastor. He's a pastor of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. And I just, pastor, when you get pastor now, we just got born again that time. We just got born again. So we'll be so vulnerable. I was very vulnerable. So when we went into it, I didn't care. It doesn't have no car, it doesn't have no house. In fact, when we got married, no honeymoon, we have to go live with my step brother back in Egan, a village in Lagos State. Maybe you know Egan.
I don't even know.
It's a village in Lagos State. We have to go live there before God showed us the way to move out. God really smiled on us through my mom. With the help of her, she loaned us some money, so we left Nigeria to Johannesburg in South Africa. So was in Johannesburg. We didn't have no papers. We didn't have nothing. We were living in a one room. It's not an apartment, just one room. I will have said that's an apartment if it has a toilet of its own, just one room. And we share toilets with other people and. So I was living there and I was braiding. I braided in the market. I left my degree under the year. I braided with, I was pregnant too of my first daughter. I braided all through in South Africa. That was my job. Before God showed, God really smiled on us. And I really thank God for smiling down on us because He's a faithful Father. When He sees the work of your hands and He sees that you are truthfully following Him, He will bless you. He will bless you. I didn't know how it happened, but we just won the visa lottery to come down to the United States. And then that one is, I'm just trying to summarize my story because I don't want to take much of the time. But that's another battle. People want to take our visa lottery from us, to pay us. They don't want to help us to get. It's a long story. Even friends, even relatives, even our own family want to take that away from us and just give us money to go and establish ourselves. And it's a lot. People doesn't want to help, but God showed up again.
Wow.
God showed up. When we got down here, I told God, as you have shown me favor, I'm going to make sure that I make you proud.
Wow.
And I told my husband too that if you can, join hands with me, we are going to make it in the United States. I told him that. The first day we put our feet on this land. But unfortunately, no. Because when we got here, I was working 2 jobs, braiding at the same time, and he decided not to, join hands with me. 14 years, 6 months, he didn't work. Of our 17 years of marriage.
Wow. I wish, people at home could see the expression of my cinematographer here because it's just a wow expression. Like, is that possible for someone to be in the United States of America and not work for 14 years and 6 months? My question now is, would you say you were not, you were entitled him in a way?
Yes. Yes.
Because if I am not apportioning blames here, but we're just having a candid discussion. Because when you have a man who doesn't work and the woman is doing 3 jobs, you are entitling that person. You are telling him without him you are nothing. Because if you are going through this, and this is the situation, in America the woman works, the man works. Our culture, we put away the culture. The culture is good. Even the Bible says that women are supposed to be helpers. It didn't say they're supposed to be the main person to bring money into the family. But in situations like this, we see different things with different couples. You are listening, you're watching this today. If you see a resemblance in what is going on in your life to what she's explaining now, you are definitely going through domestic violence. Yours might not be, maybe he has not started beating you, like raising his hands against you, but through the words of mouth, he puts you down, and you don't mean nothing to him. He doesn't want to stand up to work. He feels that you're a slave. He feels entitled. Then there's a problem. You might not identify it today, but I hope that you won't have to wait for 17 years.
Amen.
This program is not supposed to give women a sense of entitlement or something. This program is not just for women alone. Like I said, men too go through domestic violence.
Yes.
Men too can be abused. It doesn't have to be that only men will be the abuser all the time. No. It depends on where, where it fits you, where the shoe fits you.
Yes.
At this point, she has told us that she did 3 jobs to survive, even after doing everything. A pastor will not see the worth in a very good woman that you have. Even if you have a witch as a wife and she's doing all this, at least you must have that gladness in your heart that, oh, she's doing the best she can. But if you can still see that, then would you say that it's just the man that has a problem? I'll leave that question for the audience.
Let me come into that. I always say something, and people were like, no, you still need to build your self-esteem. No, this is not all about self-esteem. It takes 2 to tango. There will be one culprit and there will be one an enabler. I call the person enabler. So if you think you are an enabler, you have to stop. Because everything let me tell you what, I always tell people that I have to be blamed as well. You know why? Because I was an enabler. I enabled him to be what he became. And that's supposed not to happen in a marriage. I was thinking I was showing love. Instead of me to show tough love, I was thinking, oh, my husband husband is a full-time. God called my husband. He's a full-time pastor with no salary. He's a full-time pastor. So let me support him. So I was thinking I was supporting him to grow his ministry and to become a full-time lazy pastor.
I have a question at this point. If you are a pastor in the United States, and you have bills to pay, are you saying that pastors don't get paid? I don't understand that aspect. I really want to.
You know, when we are in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, only senior pastors get paid.
Oh.
At the Redeemed Christian Church of God. If you are not a senior pastor, you are working under a church, you don't get paid. So you have to get. In fact, senior pastors who get paid still have their own business that they do. I know of a man. He's my mentor right now, Pastor Dugwa. Pastor Dugwa was a pharmacist when he came to the United States. He was doing a job before the Redeemed called him and said, please be a full-time pastor. This is how much we're going to be paying you. And he still has a business that the wife is running under them. Even though he's a full-time pastor of the Redeemed, that the Redeemed is paying him now, the business is still going on. It's still, it's still flourishing, and the wife is the manager. You know, and they talked to us. They talked to my husband when he got to a stage when I was like, this is the United States. I can't do this no more. Apart from that, I'm not being appreciated. Every time it's boom, bang. You know, any little thing. You can't tell me, is it me they are talking to like that? No, it's becoming more aggressive. And I believe that it's because, you know, according to the adage that says an idle man is a devil's workshop. So I was thinking because he's idle, that's why he's doing all what he's doing. So I was like, get something to do. And you know what, there was a time I have to gather some money to give, you know, to get in a business. Okay, you say you're a full-time pastor, but you can still do business aside, you know. You don't want to know where that money comes. You know, but yeah, we have a car business. You know, you know that we are a dealer. We have a dealership license. We take cars to Nigeria.
She told me about
and we have a lot of containers we ship to Nigeria. Well, where the money goes now, I don't know. I don't know where the money is.
At this point, I must tell you, I'm not trying to take sides, but I have known her for so many years. And I will tell you that the person that I used to know, or that I still know, she has been hardworking right from the onset. She's not the type that waits on any man, you know. I've always known her to be like an hustling person. And I've never seen her come to beg for anything. She's like contented with whatever she has. So knowing that, you know, it became very difficult for me to believe that such will happen to her, because even when I called, I'll be like, "Were you fine?" I'm fine, to the glory of God. Oh, and she will say something like, "Oh, ba Pastor Soro," or something. She will mention something like that, and
yes,
she will smile.
Yes, yes.
So I thought I wasn't deceived. I should be sincere, because I knew something wasn't right.
I was caged. He made sure that a lot of friends, you know, went far away from me. He would tell me, that person is not good for you. Oh, that person looks like a lesbian. You can't make friends with that. Oh, no, close your Facebook page. Oh, to the extent that he chased my mom, my sisters, yeah, all my families. I became like, you know, the only one that is the only savior I have. You know, so everything he says, I obeyed. Even if he said, "Oh, that thing I want it now," I must work for it and give it to him. So, because I believe that he's my husband, he's part of me, you know. I cannot let him lack, even though he wasn't working. I can't let him lack. But at the same time, I didn't know that it was abuse. Because, and then I was thinking it was love when he says, don't make friends with this, don't make friends with it, don't make friends with that. So I was thinking, oh, Pastor sees them all, so he knows what is good for me, you know. Even though I was, I'm a minister, but, you know, I wasn't in the right mindset. I didn't know I was being controlled. I didn't know I was being manipulated. I didn't know. I was thinking it was love. Until when it now dawned on me. Go ahead, please. Just ask me.
Wow. She has said a lot. And I want you to answer this at this point. What did the spiritual leaders in the church, what did they do to this? Or did you inform them about the situation? Did they know about it?
Thank you. It took me a long time because it was like a shameful thing to me. You know, two ordained ministers. Who can be Tetalama Solif? Who are we going to, you know, who can believe me? that the pastor is doing this. Who can believe us? So when he now took all my strength, I gathered my strength to tell our mentors back then at the Redeemed Christian Church of God, because we have to, that's another story. When in Redeem, they wanted to give him a branch in Redeem. He said no, he has to go and found his own church. That was another battle. I have to look for money for him to pay the money. No, let's leave that for now. But actually, when we are in the Redeem, we call. I want to die, Baba. Please help me. What can we do? It was very shameful, but I have to come out. I came out, and they couldn't believe it. They came home. But some of them believe in divorce. I ate. But until you tell them the capacity of what is going on, some people will still think they want to, they're trying to bring couples together, bring peace and bring, husband and wife together. And when it got to the state that they knew that my back got broken, I got the surgery, and everything, then they started telling him, this is not right, you need to stop. But they still want me to still be having, to still be there in that abusive marriage until I ran for my dear life. So I don't know. That really needs to be taken care of in the household of God.
That's another one. You heard from Hannah, she said that authorities of the church try to bring them together to settle the whole situation. But if the love is gone, you cannot change somebody that does not want to be changed.
Yes.
You can only change whoever wants to be a partaker if he doesn't want to. And I want to mention here that they did went through counseling and stuff like that.
Yes.
But it didn't work. It didn't work. And I must mention that they are blessed with 3 kids, and the children are doing very well to the glory of God.
Yes, Lord.
They understand the situation. So I just want to say that whatever is going on at home, it's best to carry your children along, so that they know. If they know what is going on, they are human, they will understand. 2 people cannot be forced together.
Yes, Lord.
They cannot. It won't work unless they agree to work together. So love alone, cannot keep 2 people together unless they understand each other.
Yes.
Understanding is very key in any relationship. Communication. You have to be able to communicate with each other. If that is lost, then there cannot be a marriage. So, abuse, whether physical, whether psychological, whether sexually or emotionally, is wrong.
Yes.
Whether the victim is a man or a woman,
someone is telling
is
you,
wrong.
sorry ma'am, if someone is telling you, no one can marry you, you know what age you were when I got married to you, that's an abuse right there.
Yes.
No one can marry you. You are already useless. You know how old you were when I got married to you. That's an abuse right there. You need to, check out.
Yes. Not until it starts beating. No. And I want to say that to the glory of God, Mrs. Blessing Ajiwale is happily married today. To the love of her life. They are together. She's married. In fact, I attended her wedding last year.
Yes,
to her husband, who is a very lovely man, so understanding. So I am happy. And this program is with the sole aim that people at home can see that because you were blessed with or you've had a previous marriage, it doesn't mean you cannot be happily married.
Or you are going to your 50s. It doesn't say you can't do it.
It doesn't. And mind you, the same person, the divorce took place, they had to get divorced. And it showed that he already had previous relationship where even while they were married, got 2 people pregnant. In situations like this, as a pastor, please, if you're a woman and you are keeping this to yourself because your husband is a pastor, you don't want to speak up, just move before you get killed. She mentioned that she had a broken back, a broken neck. Some people may not have survived it. She was only we're actually lucky to be sitting out here with her, So we thank God on her behalf. And this is to enlighten anyone that is at home that is going through this. If you have a problem like that, there's this domestic violence hotline that you can call. I'm going to put the hotline at the end of this program that you can call in the United States, and you can always get help. I'm going to put it on the page too. There's a hotline for the domestic violence hotline that you can always call. You get help. Whether you're a man or a woman, they'll give you shelter. They're going to help you. Even if it comes to the fact that you don't even have papers, they are going to look. Don't be ashamed, because some people are always afraid, oh, because I don't have papers in the United States, if I call the police, they might deport me or something. There's nothing like that.
No.
The police are not, that's not what they're meant for.
Yes, and please, let me put this out there. Because before I got to know, actually sometimes it doesn't do anything, but at least it goes a long way. When you are being beaten, if somebody is laying hands on you, your wife, your husband, call the police. It won't harm you. Let anybody say what they want to say. Oh, he called the police on his wife or his husband. Yes, that's the right thing to do, because you don't want it to escalate to you killing each other. So it's better you call the law enforcement to be there so that they can be able to mediate the situation. Call the police. Don't let anybody talk you out of it.
And so there was this situation that happened in Atlanta where the woman got shot.
Yes.
And you did mention that your husband was a mentor to
Oh,
the pastor.
no. It's not Atlanta, that's Florida. Florida, yeah. People know the story.
The story.
Yeah. So I told her a lot of things that I went through, and but she was just saying, oh, he's a pastor, he can't do it. And that's the same thing she told me about my husband, because I was in the hotel for 5 months with my kids, different hotels, before we moved down here.
Moving.
Because I don't want him to track us, because if he track us, I don't know what he's going to do. So I was telling Barbara, I was like, I know why I'm doing this. You have to do it too. But they are pastors, they can't do that. She got shot.
At the end of the day, she got shot and she's dead.
She's dead now.
The man was arrested, the Ghanaian pastor that killed the wife. Yes.
So please, I beg you in the name of God, no matter what you are going through, don't use your instinct to judge it. Use discernment of spirit. And even if there is a threat, don't take the threat slightly. My head told me that nobody is going to marry me, that he's going to take everybody down. From my mother to my relative to everybody. I was like, including your kids, he didn't say anything, he just zoom up. And that threat, I didn't take it lightly. And maybe that's why I'm still alive today, or maybe he cannot do it. I'm not saying that he can, but at least that threat.
She didn't assume that he would do it.
Yes, so I have to be in a hotel, different hotels for a good 5 months before we move down here to Maryland. Yes, so please, anything you are going through, don't just wave it off if anybody threatens you in the marriage, because that is a very important thing that you have to hold on to. A lot of people die because of that. You don't take threats lightly.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Ajewole. I wish we had more time to throw more light on this, but I know that a lot of people have learned. I've learned a lot from you, and I know that a lot of people see you as a mentor. You mentor a lot of people. If you are blessed to know her, you will know she doesn't hide anything. She will encourage you to move on. She has moved on with her life and she's doing well. You can as well do the same. Don't say because of my children. A lot of people say, I can't leave because of my children.
My children calls my husband now dad. They love him to death. In fact, if we have quarrel, if we have some misunderstanding between each other, they side and Mommy, you need to do this. Daddy is right. I was like, supposed to support me. You side of me, yeah. Mommy, calm down. My kids understand, and they really love him. And I thank God. It's God. God did everything, and prayers. You have to be prayerful in anything you do. Just trust in God, and He will lead your path. He will lead you. He will see you through, no matter what you're going through. So I depended on God, and God see me through. And I'm happily married now, and I'm not regretting marrying to my husband now. He's the best so far. He's the best.
Wow.
He's the best.
Wow.
I thank God for that. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. He has been into an abusive relationship too before. So he knows how to take care of a good woman now. So we just pair up here. So I thank God for bringing him into my life.
And I pray that you guys will remain blessed
Amen.
and happy. God will keep love in this family.
Amen.
He will bring you two together to the extent that nobody will be able to come in between you. I appreciate her and I'm happy for her sincerely, genuinely, because she has gone through a lot. And if you are there, you've gone through such, and you believe there's no hope, I want to tell you today, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. You only have to give yourself that opportunity. Leave. Don't allow anybody to kill you in that house. Please. And your children will understand, because when they see you alive, they are happy.
Yes.
That's the reason why you should remain alive for them. To be able to take care of them.
Yes.
So that nobody else will take your place.
Amen.
Nobody else will take your place. If you have a story you want to share with me, you can reach out to me on Regina Olakunle TV. You can reach out to me on my social media handle, Regina Olakunle. On Facebook is the same name. And my email address is regina may6@gmail.com or reginaheit@yahoo.com. It's been a great joy bringing this program to you. I am so glad that she gave me the opportunity. She welcomed me into her home to be able to, interview her. I know that we have learned a lot. She has shared a lot with us. We don't have enough time, but at least we've been able to do what God has put in our mind to do. I hope this program will go everywhere so that people can learn from it. If you have any question for you can reach out to me. You can actually send me an email and I would reach out to her. She will respond to everything that you want to know. Please, please don't stay quiet. If anything is going on, you better move. You better move. When they say divorce, if you are alive and divorced, is it not better than to be dead? To be dead.
Absolutely.
We don't want anybody to die.
Yes, Lord.
And like I said, we're not trying to support women. This is not about women alone. Men too go through abuse. So till I come your way next time, I want you to remain blessed. I want you to remain safe and happy. That's the essence of life. Thank you, Mrs. Ajewale, once again.
You're welcome.
God bless you.
You're welcome.
And I want to say that I have 100% love for you. I appreciate God. in
Thank
your
you.
life.
Oh, you make me blush.
So till we'll come your way next time. I love you. Stay blessed.
Bye.
Bye.